Have you ever wondered if you're really healing, but you just feel like you're not getting anywhere? You're confused and crying, and you feel worse than you did before you started. I certainly have felt this in my journey of healing, that things were confusing and I was overwhelmed. Well, I'm going to share with you today 5 signs that you're healing. May not feel like it, but you are. You start to feel better. What do I mean by that? You start feeling everything. You feel more, not less, because you're opening up. You have to release the feelings and the emotions that you've stuffed. And so when you start healing, these start coming up and you feel everything, especially uncomfortable. I've heard you have to get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. Saw a trailer for a movie the other day, and it's has Julia Roberts in it. In the very end of it, the girl says, "I don't feel comfortable with that." And Julia Roberts leans in and says, "Everything's not supposed to make you feel comfortable." And that's the way healing is. It's not meant to make you feel comfortable. We protect ourselves. We want the safety and the comfort. And when you begin to release the feelings that have been frozen, maybe for years, it's not going to be comfortable. It's going to feel confusing, overwhelming. You may even grieve because you see, you've used those coping mechanisms to survive. And when you move out of survival and into really living, you have to feel the emotions. You have to grieve what used to make you feel safe and comfortable. The second thing is you begin to set boundaries. Things you used to always say yes to people please, you question that and you don't. You actually say, I'm not available to do that. You begin to set those boundaries. And those boundaries define who you are. And it's very healing because boundaries are the bridge to peace. They develop your self-respect. You respect yourself enough to be true to yourself and your values. You stop the people pleasing. It's scary. There's a lot of fear in healing. And I think people don't realize this. And the third thing is you begin to question those patterns or those coping mechanisms that kept you safe. You know, it's an illusion almost. You feel like you're safe, and then you get triggered. And healing is kind of like doing the 2-step. You do 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Healing is not a tidy package. You don't just decide you're going to start healing one day and you become aware of these things and you head that way. It is a back and forth. It is overcoming little small steps, one by one. The boundaries. You begin to feel better. You begin to feel everything, and that's feeling better. All of those coping mechanisms that you used in the past that don't serve you anymore, when they fall away, you're going to grieve some of that. It's uncomfortable. Oh, is it uncomfortable? And you have to get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. Setting a boundary the first time with someone is scary. Tap into the courage that you have, the courage that you want to be different. That boundary defines who you are. It keeps you from being a doormat. You know, I remember I was told you have to lay down on the floor to be a doormat. And it was my choice to people please. And the boundaries begin to build a bridge. peace. It gave me self-respect. The next thing is you question, questioning is, should I do this or should I do that? Or what is right for me? You question your values. You question the people in your life. You don't know. Transformation is awareness. It starts with awareness. And when you become aware of the patterns and the coping skills that don't serve you any longer, and you remove those, like I said, it feels uncomfortable. So you begin to question that. Am I doing the right thing? Do I feel okay about this? What do I want? What do I not want? That's hard. When you spent your life trying to make someone else happy or make someone else like you, it's hard. And you question that because it's not the right thing to do. I think about the story about the Israelites in the Bible. And Moses came in and was sent by God to save them from slavery. He took them out of slavery. The miracles happened, and they were in the wilderness on their way to the promised land. And what did they do? They questioned. They murmured. And they wanted to go back to slavery. Why? Why would they want to go back to slavery? God had swooped in. He was doing them miracles every day, feeding them, showing them the way to go, with a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. And they wanted to go back to Egypt to slavery because it was comfortable. And isn't that what happens in healing? We begin to question, to wonder if this direction that I'm going, is it the right direction? Is this what I need to be doing? I'm losing friends because I'm setting boundaries. I'm feeling all this stuff and I don't like it. Well, no one said that healing was a tidy package. Somewhere the expectation that you heal and you're just going to have, rainbows and unicorns. And that's not the process of healing. That was certainly not my process. I went through every single one of these. And there were times that I did go backwards and I would revert to the old coping mechanisms until they didn't work and I was aware they weren't working and I didn't want to be there anymore. And the pain of staying the same got greater than the fear of healing and I moved forward. Another sign you're healing is there's a certain tiredness, but it's not like burnout or it's not like other tiredness. It's a reflective, just, and during this time, some self-care. And what's self-care? That's ministering to your soul. This is soul work. Healing is soul work. And there's a spiritual side to it. So you nurture that, the quietness, I remember one day sitting outside and my mind was still. And I sat there. It was so strange to me that I didn't have that continual overthinking and just, I call it the hamster wheel in my head. And so I called my mentor and she said, honey, that's what we call serenity. I didn't even know what that felt like. And so it was a certain just kind of weariness, but there was some peace in it. And so some really good self-care during this time. The last thing that shows that you're healing is you become more authentic. You stop wearing a mask. You become more of who you are, of who you know. You speak up more. You are more engaged. You want to do more things. You become authentic. And these may be short bursts because you're going to move through these 5 things I've talked about. You're going to have more feelings and emotions. You're going to be able to set small boundaries and stick to them. You're going to have a little bit of weariness at times. You're going to be more authentic. And there's a lot of freedom. For every truth you uncover about yourself and falls by the wayside, you gain a piece of freedom. Free to be who you are. Free to be real. Free to know yourself. Free to engage fully with another person. Those friends you lost by setting boundaries and being different, you're going to get some new ones. And they're going to be real friends, not a one-sided relationship. I decided a long time ago that I was not going to carry relationships and be in one-sided relationships. If that person wanted to give and receive, then they were the person for me. That give and receive should be reciprocal in all relationships. So I hope this has helped you today. If you're on a path of healing, to give yourself some grace, to allow yourself the time to move through these stages and back and forth, to grieve the losses of your past, to embrace who you are authentically. And that's what my channel's about. It's about being you on purpose. That's what I would want for you. Scary, uncomfortable at times, but you might as well be yourself because everyone else is taken. And that's who God created you to be, is to be you on purpose.